Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking some of the more popular books that I've read, popular on booktok, bookstagram, whatever it is. I just got back into reading and these were the books that I could not escape hearing about and I have to discuss. So let's get into it. So our categories are as follows. First up, we have tomato, throwing tomatoes. Then we have you're pushing it. You're pushing it, you're very close to being attacked by tomatoes, but not quite that bad. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if anything's gonna make it to the tomato category because I'm just too nice, Just kidding, I'm really not. Then I have I almost liked you. I did, but it's kind of mediocre, mid tier. Then we have solid, like truly a solid piece of work. Like I'm not even saying solid in like an average way. It takes a lot to create just a solid book. So I would say that this is like 4-star tier, maybe 5-star, but something wasn't perfect for me because when I say no notes, I mean very little notes. I'm going to have some notes. Obviously, a book is never going to be 100% perfect. Like there's always something the author could have done more or less of or whatever, but I will still give books 5 stars even if it wasn't quote unquote perfect. So that is the no notes category. I came up with those categories in like 2 minutes on my lunch break, so it's not my best work, but it is what it is. Let's start off with Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is the biggest sensation right now. You cannot escape it. I thought this book was going to be horrible because of some reviews that I saw. I swear, can I just say this? Like, people act like this book is just full of bestiality and like crazy stuff and it's so horribly written. And I'm just like, come on now. Like, please, like, enough with the dramatics. Like, and I'm the first person to say something's overhyped. Like, trust me, I'm about to get into it. But I just don't get it. Like, I get it. If we want to talk about Iron Flame, there's some serious problems with Iron Flame. But this book was perfectly fine. Like, I understand why it's so hyped up. Like, I could see why this story resonated with people and why it blew up. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like the most original book I've ever read, but anyway, girl, let's get to the point. I will put this in no notes. Like, I am so serious. Yeah, I think I did give it 5 stars. And this is actually probably terrible to admit, so I feel bad about it. But I did go to visit my friend on vacation. Like, I flew to her state and I could not put this book down, y'all. I couldn't. Like, I could not. I was so enthralled in this setting. But I'm gonna be honest, if Xaden wasn't in the book, would I love it as much? Probably not. Like, probably not. He is the sole reason I breathe. Just kidding. He is the sole reason why I think I love this book so much. I don't know. It was the training scenes for me. It was the connection, the enemies to lovers. He is just everything. So I guess I'm biased. If you don't like Xaden, like if you somehow got the ick from him or you just maybe you're into blondes, then I don't know what could convince you. Other than the dragons, I don't know if there's much else in this story, to be quite honest with you, besides maybe Rhiannon and like, okay, there was a lot of other students, but like, okay, Violet herself, I like her. I'm not gonna hate on her. One thing about me, I'm kind of tired of people like criticizing every single female main character. Like, okay, if she's annoying, then say she was annoying, or if she was whatever, it's like stubborn, then say she's stubborn. But like, I feel as though people always want to say like, I hate Violet. She's so boring. What does Xaden see in her? What? But not even just her, but like just any female main character. Just people like going so far with it. It's like, I don't get it. Like, misogyny just has no bounds, I guess. Not to say that criticizing a woman is misogyny, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, when people won't shut up about tearing into a female main character, and it's like, you're getting mad at her for completely justified reactions on her part. Like, I'm confused because. Anyway, moving on to Iron Flame. Well, what do I do with this one? I'm gonna say that I'm really stuck between you're pushing it and I almost liked you. And I want to put it in I almost liked you. I will. I'll put it there. There's no way I can put it lower. Only because that's like second to last. I mean, I started this book, you guys, and I was so confused. I was like, why is everybody hating on this book? Like, because I didn't finish it yet. So, but I heard the bad reviews and I was just thinking, something's going to come around the corner and spook me. I just know it because I was liking it a little bit too much. Like, people said it was so boring, that it was a lot of time spent learning about geography. And I didn't find that to be the case. Like, I don't know. I thought it was just very simple explanations of the borders and the dangers and the upcoming threat. That wasn't my problem. Like, I actually kind of enjoyed hearing about it and like the buildup and everything. And then in the end, what even happened in the end? That was the thing, is like they did spend a lot of time, or Rebecca did spend a lot of time building it up. So I guess I see their point, because it was also rushed at the end. And then that final reveal, you know, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I don't like things like that. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like things like that. It's just like, it is interesting and it's exciting. Like, of course, I want to tune into the next book and I'm emotionally invested in these characters, some of them, but I just didn't like the book, period. I almost liked you because you had me hooked. Like, I was willing to be patient. It was a long book. I was excited to finish it so that way I could like go online, like see the memes, see the jokes, like be a part of the discourse. And then I feel like, is it just me, or I had very little to research or like discuss about? Like, I just see people like coming up with theories, you know, about like random stuff or like stuff from book one. You know what I mean? I just feel like there wasn't that much substance in book two. And then there was like, you know what? I won't get much into it, but let's just move on because this is going to be a long video if I keep up at this rate. Next up is Colleen Hoover's It Ends With Us. So, can I just say, what the F is Blake Lively wearing? Because I read this book a couple years ago, and I didn't remember Lily Blossom Bloom or whatever the hell her name is. I didn't remember her dressing like that. Like, okay, and I hate talking about people's fashion sense because I dress horribly. Like, I copy what everyone else does. I have no fashion identity of my own. I wear leggings every day. Like, it's a thing. But like, I don't understand. But I'm genuinely asking, like, did I miss something? Like, in the book, was that part of her character? What do I rate this book? I'll say you're pushing it. You're pushing it. I thought Lily was a good character. I really liked Ryle. I thought the whole story of them was super sweet. And let me just say, I don't think that this book glamorizes abuse. Like, if you thought that, you missed the point. Like, what do you mean? The name of the book is called It Ends With Us. Like, it's just getting to the point where the media literacy is just not there. But that being said, I don't know. I don't know if proper trigger warnings were put out. I'm not exactly sure. I thought it did a good job representing how you think someone is one way and then they completely switch up on you, and you may end up forgiving that person. And then there was just the aspect about her writing to Ellen DeGeneres. Honestly, I didn't really think anything of it while I was reading the book. I don't know why, but it is weird. I don't know. It was just maybe not weird. Okay, it's not weird, but it's just cringe. Sorry. If it helped her, which it seemed like it did, and it's something she did as a child, she kept doing it, I think. That's cute. Another super hyped book, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is the same thing where I feel like, why are people talking about this nonstop? Like, I don't get it. And let me just say, oh my God, I left a really long Goodreads review. Here's what I put. I put, the concept of fitting 7 different husbands in one book is difficult enough. And the point of the book is hardly them anyway, obviously. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this felt rushed and clunky to me, in part due to that. That sentence was rushed and clunky, Ashley. But yes, pause, because I want to, comment on that. Like, I get that the focus is about Evelyn Hugo. Like, it's not about the men. F the men. Like, whatever. They're just side characters in her story. But it just still feels weird, though, because there's a chapter, or I think there's a chapter, there's like a section for each husband. And it just feels like some of them were just so random and short, and just I get that that's the point, and she was inspired by, what is it, Elizabeth Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, or someone in real life. Like, I know there are people who have actually been married 7 times, but it just felt a little bit like, you included this story for what, though? Because I didn't really learn much about Evelyn with some of the husbands. It just felt so stupid. Like, why am I reading this again? Like, you couldn't have made it 5 husbands, or like, you know what I mean? Because I do feel like every word or every story should serve a purpose. Like, whether it makes me laugh and like I become endeared to the character, whether I feel sad for the character. And some of the husbands just felt irrelevant. There was such a cool story there about her being whitewashed and like had to fit into this mold of like a straight white female, you know? And men just came in and out of her life, and she got married and she kept trying to like deny herself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it shapes up to sound like it would be such an amazing story. Because I remember when I heard about the synopsis, I was like, I have to read this. It's gonna be life-changing. And it was literally so bland. Like, I feel like the point of the story was more so leading up to that plot twist at the end, and that, like, it was just such a simple theme or message at the end about what even was the message. Like, try to right your wrongs. I don't know. Like, even in the end, I think she said, like, I'm not a good person. But girl, like, an amazing concept thrown in the trash. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna have to put this in tomato, I think, you guys. I probably should have put it in You're Pushing It, but no. Like, I don't even think there was anything about this book that I liked. At least with It Ends With Us, I thought that the story of her and Ryle was super sweet. Like, the childhood friends to lovers, you know, but I didn't mind like the depiction of a toxic abusive relationship. Like, that's real life. But it's just Evelyn Hugo, like, what did it give me? Nothing. First up is Throne of Glass. So this is the first SJM book I ever read. I did not know it was YA going into it. I know it gets more adult as the series goes on. And that does matter to me in terms of the spice, because I really do like spice in my books. But I also don't mind if it's not there in the first or the second book, because I like a slow burn too. So I really liked the concept of this book and the competition to become the king's assassin. I really liked the world building and how it was just very easy to follow. Like, we knew that this king wants to conquer the world, that he is basically, you know, eradicating populations, including our main character, Selena, where she comes from, and just like hearing her upbringing and her story and how she's been fighting back while she's being held as a slave, and she still has hope, and she participates in this competition. She's underestimated, but this like mysterious prince selected her to participate. This isn't even a spoiler. This is like very early on into the book. But this mysterious prince selects her, like, I want you to participate in this competition. And there is another character, Kale, who is what, like the king's guard? I forgot. But I love him, or I loved him. I don't know. I'll get to that, but I heard that people don't like him at a certain point. But as far as I know, I love him. So I am putting Throne of Glass in solid. I mean, I just can't put it any higher. I feel like, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not going to give a book 5 stars just because it was great and there was like nothing technically wrong with it, like in my opinion, wrong with it. And like, no, it needs to be amazing. It needs to have made me feel emotion. So ideally, like, cry, or if I start feeling some type of way while reading it, or if I get angry, like, I need those emotions elicited in order. That's like one of the things that would make me give a book 5 stars. So next up is Crown of Midnight, and that's the second book in the Throne of Glass series. And I am also going to give this solid. I honestly can't remember much about it, but I just remember it was a quick read. Like, nothing about it was boring. You know, we developed more in the main relationship, and I think, I can't tell you where this book starts off without spoiling, but we see how Selena is going to handle a very tough position that she's in. And I was just kind of shocked that, I don't know, I was just shocked by her. Like, she has balls, you know, and she's just a badass, and I enjoyed this book a lot. Like I said, it was just quick to go through. I was eager to get to the next one. And then we get to Heir of Fire, which I'm sure you're wondering, wait, why does it stop at Heir of Fire? Like, where's the rest of the TOG books? And to that I say, I don't know. Just kidding. I do know. I will link down below my spoiler review because I really get into it. But let me just say this. There is something that happens during an argument with two individuals where it escalates, and it absolutely did not need to. And I can't see past it. Like, I've tried. I've seen people normalizing it and justifying it and excusing it. And I'm just like, so I'm going to put this in, you're pushing it. I know that that is absolutely crazy to some people. But here's why. First of all, there were multiple POVs, and this is where Manon starts getting her chapters, I think. And not just Manon. Then we get chapters for Dorian and Kale, or maybe Kale, but like Dorian's always there. So it's 3. We get Selena, because she is in another country. I don't think that's much of a spoiler, but that's just where she's at for a lot of the book. And then Dorian and Kale are where they are, and then Manon is, maybe that is, it's not a spoiler, but it's just like whatever. She is a witch in a coven. Anyway, so we start learning a lot about the witches, and I've always liked the idea of witches in books or like media or whatever. Like, I always just thought it's so interesting. I love the concept of magic and brooms and whatever. But for some reason, I can't even tell y'all, like, the witches don't do it for me in Throne of Glass. Like, the way they describe, the way SJM says they have iron teeth, and I feel like she always describes them as being ugly. Am I wrong in this? Like, I swear to God, she like says that about Baba Yellowlegs and the Fae Queen Maeve. And not that they have to be pretty for me to like them. That's not what I'm saying. It's just like they creep me out. Like the iron teeth thing, and like the sharp spiky teeth at that too. And like the witches just seem kind of, and I'm sure at some point it's going to be further explained, and it kind of already has. Like, I'm sure they're like scorned women, and like I'm sure I will love them because I think people love Manon, and I'm not sure why. But I'm not saying I hate all of them. Like, love them. I'm sure they have their reasons, but it's just, I get so bored whenever I have to read about them. And I hate being that person, because I hate those people that are just like, oh, it's something different. It's like it's not the main character. I'm so bored. Like, like, shut up. Like, you can't stand to read about something that's not the main character or smut. Like, no, I'm not me. I'm not like other girls. No, but I don't think that's most girls. I think most girls love books. What I'm trying to get at is that I am willing to endure that discomfort, I should say, that discomfort when a new character is introduced or when a new POV is introduced or whatever. Like, I don't want to complain, but it just becomes draining after a while. If I'm not finding anything likable about the character, it's like, give me the backstory already, or give me the heartwarming moment. Like, I don't know about y'all. I just don't really like reading about people who are just insufferable. Not saying Manon's insufferable. Okay. I should probably, I totally forgot to mention I've DNF'd this book. I stopped it after that incident happened that I told y'all about, because I'm not here for it. Like, I'm sure I'll come back to it and maybe you'll catch me being that person's number one stan. But I don't know. I don't know if that day will come. Next up, I have ACOTAR. I guess I did give ACOTAR 4 stars, and I kind of struggled to remember it because all I remember is the end. And like I said, I thought that the riddle was so freaking stupid. But other than that, I did think it was a solid book. Like, it was enjoyable, it was entertaining. And I think it did a good job shaping up for the next book, which is A Court of Mist and Fury. And this one, I also would probably put it in solid. I still haven't finished ACOWAR, so that's just funny. But I haven't technically started it. Like, I bought the book and I didn't read it. I don't know. I heard that ACOMAF is where it peaks, and I'm kind of just procrastinating reading ACOWAR because I don't want to let them go. But please convince me to read it so that way I can move on with my life. So yeah, I think that both of these are really, really solid. I think that Rhysand is an amazing character, like just so that you could be included on the booktok, like fan art, or not booktok, the bookstagram fan art and memes. Like Rhysand is just that guy. Let's just finish out SJM while we're at it. Crescent City, number 1, A House of Earth and Blood. Girl, this is going to no notes. There are no notes, okay? Other than maybe the first 100 pages were super clunky, very, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like people getting in my head because I already heard people saying that before I read it. But when I got into it, y'all, could not put this down. Like addictive. This is my first urban fantasy. So like I thought I would hate phones in my book, guns in my book, TVs in my book. Absolutely not. I was so disgusted by it. But when I tell you, loved it. Loved it. The way that, our main characters used the phone and like taking pictures of one another as like a sweet way to connect. Like, okay, that sounds so stupid out of context, but like in the moment, this is, I guess you could say it's a spoiler, but I won't tell you who it is. I just want to kind of explain this really quick. Like he just has a bunch of, like he has very little photos on his phone. And the ones that he does have are just like work related. And she's like, what is this? You have like nothing cool on your phone. He's like, what? Like, I'm supposed to take pictures? I'm paraphrasing. And so she makes it a point to like snap a picture of him in that moment. And it's just something that she continuously does throughout the book. And it's just so sweet. And then he starts doing it back. And it's not corny. It's not one of those things where she's like, let's capture every moment. Like she doesn't say that. It's just she does something cute like that to show him that it's important. Like it's just implied that it's special to take pictures and have those memories and not just have, pictures of work on your phone. And I don't know. And it's just, there was so many other super cute moments. Like the first book, I just had such a time. I had a time with this book. I loved all of the characters. I loved the relationship building and the mystery of it all. And that brings me to A House of Sky and Breath. By the way, I have a spoiler review of both of these books that I will link down below. I think I'm going to put it in I Almost Liked You. Yeah, they kind of belong together, Iron Flame and Sky and Breath. Like two of the same. You know what it is? Second book syndrome. How funny is that? Okay, I didn't even do that intentionally. But that Fourth Wing and House of Earth and Blood were just so good. They set the tone. They had me hooked. I go into the second book. What do I get in return? A bunch of nonsense. Whereas I liked some of the spice in Iron Flame. House of Sky and Breath, girl, I didn't even go into it as much as I should have in my Sky and Breath review. The spice was so lame. Like, not lame, there's a lot of it, but they had so much sexual tension in the first book. Like, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, they were the hottest couple to me. I could not wait to dig into book 2. And what do I get in return? Some cat and mouse game for a while. And then when it finally happens, womp womp. Like, it's just what happened in this book. Like a complete cluster F. Then we start getting more POVs, which I told y'all sometimes I don't like, but I tried to be patient. And, I won't crap on it too much. Like, it was like Therion and who else? I think maybe we start getting I think we start getting Hunts in this one. I don't know, actually. But it's just, the whole book was kind of stupid. Like, I almost liked you. I really did. Like, I was so excited to get into it, and I was willing to be patient again. And I feel like I was just slapped in the face for it. Like, just everything, like, you took me on this whole ride again. I won't say what. There's, like, this problem. There's this search throughout this book, and I wasn't even invested in the first place, girl. I told y'all this in the review. I told y'all, like, am I supposed to be devastated by this because you told me like one little cute story and I'm supposed to be like invested? So I wasn't. And then, do you know what I mean? It's just like we kind of got the runaround, and then the way it all kind of wrapped up, I was like, what the hell? What was that about? I don't know. And then, but there are so many aspects of this that I liked. Like there were a lot of cool reveals, but now that I think about it, I'm kind of like, did you just pull that out of your ass? Like literally though, because okay, so I almost liked you, very mid, okay, but I think it could have been a great book. I just don't know what she was thinking. Okay, let's move on. So next is From Blood and Ash. I'm gonna put that in no notes. I don't know what's up with this right now, but I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people saying that this book isn't good. Why? I don't get it. There's spice super early on, but it's still a subsequent slow burn. And I gotta say, I'm eating that up nowadays. Like I'm eating it up because sometimes that's even better if there's like something spicy and then it stops and then it's maybe even more teasing or more scenes or maybe nothing at all, but just something at least to capture my attention to see that sexual chemistry off the bat and see the way they like speak to each other and like, you know what I mean? Because you can feel the tension from the words for sure. And I just really liked this whole concept of, well, I didn't like the concept, but the concept of her being a maiden and sexually repressed and, you know, she has to hide her face. And I don't know, I just saw a lot of like, I don't know, messaging symbolism, if you will. Like it was just so interesting from the beginning. Like, what is her deal? How did she end up this way? And your questions aren't all answered. Like it's gonna unravel as it goes, and then you don't know if she can actually trust this one person. And you just see her evolve, and it's really cool to see. So I like this book a lot. Then I read A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and I would put this in solid, I guess I would say. It was a good book. It was a lot of traveling, but I wasn't bored. Like I went through it pretty quickly. There was like one questionable spicy scene just like right after battle, and I was like, be serious. Like I just listen, I love a spontaneous, like hot in the moment scene, but like that, I don't know, is it just me? Like I guess it's the adrenaline. I don't know. I've never been a soldier, but like it's just cringe. Like especially like y'all are leaders. Y'all are supposed to be an example, but whatever. But yeah, the book was just, it wasn't as good as FBAA to me. I did start the third book. I'm not going to DNF, but I will say I kind of stopped a couple of weeks ago and I have not returned back to it. But my intention is to go back to it. I think I just get that way if I know I'm approaching the end, because I think that trilogy, I think it ends at the third, right? No, I think I'm wrong. But I don't know. Then the fourth book, I think, is the guy's POV. And then I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. I know a lot of people are saying FBA is being dragged out, and I'm not cool with that. Like, if it's entertaining, then fine. But if it's going to be dragged out, not here for it. So I think I'm kind of avoiding my disappointment because I had such a strong start with the first two. Then we have Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. And this is going in I Almost Liked You, I think. And I will put the second book there too. I will put both of them there because they were both 3 stars for me. And I almost liked them, but y'all, I don't know what it is, but I tried reading the first book like 10 different times. Like I said, I finally finished both of these, but it took me so long. And I think it's because I just genuinely did not click with Araya. And I felt like I couldn't understand. Well, I did understand her, and I liked not the example. I liked the depiction of a complicated relationship with your father, and I thought her father was like such a good morally gray character, although he was like objectively a bad guy, but he did love her and care for her, I think. So that was cool, but did I say spoiler? I don't know. But I think that Carissa Broadbent does an amazing job writing sex scenes. I think that it's just so good, like the slow burn and just the detail and everything like that. But and like the scenes of them were hot together, but I just wasn't convinced. Do you know what I mean? Like I especially was not convinced of their romance. Like I did not believe these two people love each other at all. Like I think they found each other attractive, maybe admired each other, but I just wasn't getting any deep feeling. And when it ended, I wasn't even sad. I was just like, what was that? Like, I genuinely wasted my time. I'm kind of mad about it. I definitely think it's overhyped. I'm not going to lie. So maybe I should put it in You're Pushing It, but I can't do it to them. I can't do it to Carissa because the spicy scenes were quite excellent. So compared to those, no ma'am. So, like I said, the way they were written, super amazing. Super amazing. What was that? Okay, I have had enough with this video. You guys have been talking so long. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in my next one. I will see you then. Bye.